can do, because the casting director says, hey, I want a white male for this, I want a white male for that. And that, I mean, that I can only speak for as an actor. Right. I can only speak for that, because it's like when you're auditioning, you pretty much know whether or not you're going to get it based off of appearance.
How they treat you.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Like, as soon as you come in, like, you'll have an idea of what to expect.
Man, that's exactly how I felt for that play I auditioned for. Like, when I walked up on stage, they it just started yelling at me, and these were other black folk, believe it or not. But like, they just their disposition shook me, because I wasn't expecting them to be so rigid. And so it was just it just kind of threw me off my game, and I was really sad about it for a little bit, because I know I'm much better than that. But that's the thing about anything you do, there's going to be people who say no, but the right people are going to say yes, and they're going to recognize your talent, and they're going to give you that opportunity. But you got to keep trying, even in the midst of your no's, right?
And that's the hard part, is that you gotta at some point you gotta just keep going. Mm-hmm. I know, and it's tough after you, especially when you don't see the success in front of you, but you gotta put it in your mind.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Yeah. And I
Tiffany
think
Haddish did that. Go ahead.
What'd you say? She said what?
Well, Tiffany Haddish, I saw that story where she used to put recordings after her audition in the room. She would leave her purse there on purpose, and she would put like a recording on in her purse to hear what they would say about her audition. And they would talk a lot of bad things about her, after she left the room. So it's like,
did she use it to make her better?
What she did was she just kept going. To be honest with you, that's the honest truth. Like, she just kept going until I think Kevin Hart had a big role in her success. But the main thing is she just kind of kept going. Mm-hmm. It's about tenacity.
There's another example of it takes a network. It takes collaboration to make the dream. Exactly. What's that quote? Teamwork makes the dream work, right? Exactly. But I feel like my experience, with the creative arts, like, for example, like my mom, when I was young, she took us to the planetarium. So that unleashed a new wave of vocabulary and communicating, like, different subjects that I can communicate with. Right now I could talk about planets, or planetary alignments, or super nebulas and things of that sort. And then when I was in 6th grade, my mom took me to go see a play called Holes, and then I'm able to talk about the stage process. I'm able to talk a little bit about theater, a little bit about the difference between plays and movies, and then going to like history museums and being able to talk about artifacts, and so it unleashed in me a vocabulary and interesting topics that I was able to then communicate with many people about. And even though like my grades weren't stellar in school, I was still impressive to people, because I was able to maneuver or into different spaces and be able to adapt to that space. And it's what we call code switching, right? And so that's one of the most valuable assets I think creatives have, is that we're able to code switch.
No, I would say, you're really good at that. Man, like that honestly, like that's what I'm saying. Like you have that ability to take pieces of things and then adapt to that. Mm-hmm. That's why speaking to people is like, I can definitely see that being like your big thing, because like there's pieces of people that you'll be able to take and then relate to a bigger picture. Like, I can see you being really, really good at that.
And not just me, like I want, the reason why I'm sharing like why I am how I am today, and that being through exposure to the cultural arts, is because I think that's, I think I'm admirable, but I feel like it will alleviate a lot of people's frustration that we feel today, the unfulfilledness that, this podcast is about finding your purpose. And, what you create, what you produce is a part of that. The Bible says, the story about the parable of the 10 talents and the master who went away and distributed his remaining funds to his servants. And then when he came back, he said, okay, well, show me what you have done with the increase that I've given you. And one person had multiplied it, by half, and one person multiplied it by, a 30% increase. But the one person, he had not done anything. He was so afraid to invest what his master had given to him because he felt it was so little that he just buried it in the ground, and he didn't do anything fruitful to multiply that money. And I feel like that's a lot of what we do with our gifts. We bury it. We don't tend to it because we don't feel like it's enough. We don't give it an opportunity to grow and see that light. And so that's one of the things I want to encourage in everyone's education, because we never stop learning, but especially, students growing up in school today, expose yourself to different arts, allow yourself to, because every art has a culture, and every culture has a people, a language, and behaviors associated with it. So if you can go into a space and you can, leave your mark upon it by just being there and allowing it to instill within you some core values that will carry you further with communicating with people. Because I tell you what, a lot of the places that I've gotten in life, it's not what I knew, but who I knew, right?
Yeah,
so
that's it, man. That's it. It's who you know.
Mm-hmm. So, man, I'm looking so forward to seeing you continue to evolve as a creative, continuing to share your work, continuing to fight the good fight as a creative, as you continue to get over these no's to the one yes that is going to change your life. And I just pray that God continue to show you his favor, his face, and that he continue to build your faith to continue on this path. Because, man, your music is amazing and you're an inspiration.
Thank you.
So,
thank you, Karma. You're amazing. I appreciate the kind words.
I'm looking forward to see what you produce, man. So is there any last words you want to give, any advice to artists, to creatives, to whoever? What is your last words for today?
Honestly, last words, just trust in the Lord Jesus, and to be real with you, don't give up.
Amen.
And don't go by what you see, go by what you know.
Amen. Amen. Well, J Wisco, I want to thank you so much for coming on the Single with a Purpose podcast. You have been a beacon of light in the midst of this creative darkness that we are feeling. But I'm looking forward to the boys and the girls and the men and the women and that are going to stand up and take control of their destinies and using their talents that God has given them, not burying their head in the sand, not burying it, afraid they might lose it, but getting out there every day and taking risks to make their dreams come true. This is for you. So signing off. Thank you so much for listening. Share, like, comment, subscribe. Write us, tell us what you think about J Wisco's new songs on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, and Spotify, and give back to us and let us know what you think. Signing out, it's your girl, Karen Elizabeth. So